Thank you, Sylvia. Well, one of the services we're raising funds for today is the Grace Centre for Newborn Intensive Care at the Children's Hospital at Westmead, and it's our pleasure to introduce you to one very special patient. This is Prapti, beautiful Prapti, and her mum and dad, Pratik and Shami, and co-head of the Grace Centre, Dr. Himanshu Popat. Welcome to you all. Thanks for being with us. This is such an amazing story as the Grace Centre diagnosed Prapti with a condition that is believed to be the first case ever in Australia. Tell us about it.
So look, when Prapti was born, she was unexpectedly very sick. She was born with a lot of sort of fluid seeping into her skin and also into her lungs. So she was critically unwell and on a respirator. And she was born in a maternity hospital, and the doctors there were trying their best to look after her. And I remember getting a phone call when she was around 2 weeks of age, when they said they've tried everything, they need help. And we work at the Children's Hospital, and it was a desperate attempt to see if we can save her life. So it was a very rare thing to just been born so unexpectedly sick at birth.
And just tell me, as a family, how tough were those first few days and weeks not knowing what was going on?
It was a very difficult time. I mean, we wouldn't know what's happening with her. We haven't heard of that condition ever before. Being in Australia on our own, it was a very difficult time. I have a lot of friends. They go to hospital with a baby in the tummy, and they come home and say, "Okay, we're home," and it's not going to be the case for me. I was looking at the funeral cost and everything, and
They're very hard, very hard.
very hard time.
Doctor, I wonder, you come in there, you don't know, because it's so rare, whatever she has, so therefore, how do you treat it?
Agree. So when she was transferred to us, we had a meeting with team of specialists, lung specialists, surgeons, cancer specialists, and we were thinking about how can we get to know what's happening with her. And thanks to some of the specialists that we have, we got a special scan on her, and we actually found out that she had an abnormal, what it's called lymphatic system, which is basically a drainage system. So you and I have a drainage system which takes care of the little fluid that is under the skin and into her lungs. But with Prapti, she had an abnormal drainage system. So fluid was just not coming out, it was just getting accumulated. She was almost drowning in her own fluid in the lungs.
Wow.
So when we found out from the special scans what she had, we then looked at the literature to see, has this been reported anywhere else? And no one has reported this condition in a baby of this size. There were few case reports similar to her, but in older age group. And then we sat down together and said, we'll have to think about what can we do. And there is a special medication that is used in some of the older age group.
But then that's problematic with the younger patient.
Agree.
Yeah.
So we don't know much about it. There are side effects. So I remember, it was I think 30th of September. I remember they did very well in the afternoon. I sat down with both of them and said, look, we have this drug that may work. It has its own side effects. There is 50% chance. Now, if it doesn't work, you know, I said, we may not have Prapti with us. And that was one of the most difficult conversations we had with the family. I remember it very well.
Oh, it's awful. That was the worst
That's
conversation.
the worst thing. And after that meeting, I have called my two real good friends in Australia, and they said, you're gonna make a decision there. And then I choose the decision to go ahead with the medication and look at here.
And look at here.
She is a sweetheart, so she's now 2.
She's now 2.
How's she going?
She's fantastic. She's running around all the house, throwing things around, crying, yelling.
But what a joy to actually experience the terrible twos.
At that time,
Yeah.
she came home on 2nd of December 2020. It was before Christmas, so she made our Christmas very well. To me, honestly, without my Guru's grace and without all the help of Grace Centre and the guidance and wisdom of the Grace Centre nurses and doctors, it wouldn't be possible. I wouldn't have an opportunity to bring my daughter here with you.
Do you know, Ali reckons that she can win any child in the world over with her motherly ways. I wonder if it's possible for her to attempt.
Why are you laughing, Dr. Popat?
She's the mother of the nation. So can she
Hi,
try and win
Prapti.
her over?
Do you
or-
want to know Santa
yeah, sure,
Claus?
definitely.
You know that she's shown me absolutely zero
Let's give it a
interest, and
try.
that's why you're setting me up, right?
It looks a little bit like you when you left me for a current affair.
Stamping my foot. And I didn't look back. Is what you're saying.
It's funny, isn't it? Thank you, guys. It's a really
A
special
really
story.
beautiful story. Thank you for sharing, and I'm so glad she's with you and thriving. It's wonderful.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, guys. And this interview was made possible thanks to the generous donation from Dooleys Social Club. A big shout out to them, and it's over to Brooke and Alex.